Almost 20 years I walked this path, and I was completely unaware that even in my loneliest days, there was always someone there. I was a mistake when I was born, wasn't meant to grow into a man. I felt so unloved, so unwanted, no understanding of the plan. Torn between two lost people, thought that I had to pick a side. The conflict got too much for this boy, by both parents, I was denied. Like a child's toy I became, being dragged from pillar to post. This wasn't a child-friendly environment, who hated the other the most. Had to behave and be quiet, avoid the smack around the head. Don't make eye contact or argue, and do what hadn't even been said. It was hard to get things right every time. I thought I was doing fine. I lay there silent, watching television. Wrong, he stood on my spine. The pain, it got too much for this boy, so I lay down, I wept and I prayed. Then all of the truth came out of my mouth, like the one with a secret was betrayed. A long time went by, I pushed on through, and I forgot about him and that prayer. However, there was a new man in our home, and very little did he care. He was bigger, he was scarier, he had this evil look in his eye. He was a lot stronger than the last time this happened. However, so was I. I could take it, I could hide it, it wasn't too bad on my health. But the thing that was destroying me inside was when he wasn't doing it to myself. I hated myself, I was weak, and her I couldn't save. I prayed that she plucked up the courage, I wasn't man enough to be brave. The time he hit me 3 times, knuckle dusters, we looked at each other and knew. All of his drunk, violent abuse, well that was through. By now I was in a relationship, the only type I had seen. 2 people that say they love each other, but act rather mean. I did whatever she wanted, she was always the boss. If I couldn't satisfy her needs, then I would suffer the loss. For a few years I tried the best that I could, but my world came down, it crashed with a thud. This time she went too far, nothing about her represented a lady. However, something made me stay. She told me we were having a baby. A little baby boy, £2 and 2. A bag of sugar in an incubator I tried to stick to like glue. Still things weren't working between me and the girlfriend. It's not long after our relationship came to an end. I pushed on through, but time was coming for little man to go home. I got worried I'd be pushed out and end up completely alone. I tried to be a great dad, and things got better, they weren't too bad. However, this was all built on wanting to do the right thing, but evil was upon us. What next would the devil bring? Well, a drunken row left me standing my ground, on the streets for a while, suddenly less people were around. I got taken in, but things, they didn't get better. I got my heart broken again, it's my own fault, a letter. I couldn't take the commands, being told what to do. It all got too much for me and finally I blew. I'm not your boyfriend and I'm not your slave. You've pushed me to my limits and you've worked me to the grave. She looked at me and laughed. Well, Jordan, now you're done. There's no more me and you, then there's no more you and your son. Things got bad, but there was someone I could depend on. They told me that they loved me and not all hope was yet gone. But they couldn't save me. I was heading down a steep slope. Too much suffering in my heart. I just couldn't cope. I was in a deep, dark place which led to self-harm. Knives, glass and razor blades slicing through my arm. There was really something about this I was actually feeling, and I was fascinated to see how quick I was healing. Well, on the outside anyway, my heart turned into stone. I couldn't let anyone else in, it was safer to be alone. However, I did make a new friend, and his name was Bear. He made me forget all my problems, was always there to lend an ear. After a long time of tasting, the flavours, well, they went bland. Myself, I got bored, I wanted a new substance in my hand. What else was there for me? What could I taste, sniff or smoke? Something new to dull the feelings, bit of a spliff, MCAT, Coke. Things from here are blurry, I know I became destructive. Anything I did, do anything I said, was completely unproductive. Time took its toll, and so did the drugs. This life wasn't meant for me, I'm not really a thug. Depression sat so deep, I didn't know how I felt. so I got down to the floor and I screamed to the sky as I knelt. Paranoid, confused and scared, myself and the world so full of hate. I didn't have anyone, not a single mate. I couldn't get my head round it, I didn't know why. I thought, you know what, it's over, it's time for me to die. So I took every drug I possibly could, 127, I couldn't take more. My head, it went really fuzzy, I closed my eyes and lay on the floor. My heart stopped beating, my skin went cold. I thought I'd done the job. I woke up, no medical treatment. It was like a smack in the gob. I tried to laugh it off, but I felt so ashamed. I detested myself. It was the rest of the world that I blamed. This left me in a vortex of anger and self-loathe. I couldn't have hit any lower. Was this my chance for growth? I don't think so. I've been pushed to the brink. I didn't want to be here. I fell back on the drink. It took a friend to convince me, gave me a bit of a shake. He said, sober up, come to this building, they do free coffee and cake. He told me it was a church. I said, I'm not going inside. What would they think of me after just trying to commit suicide? There was a nice guy there, actually wanting to hear my voice. Maybe when I started ranting, he may have regretted his choice. He told me he'd been praying for me. I just stood there and laughed. We didn't even know each other. He was either deluded or daft. Weeks went by, I walked in that building, thought may as well give it a check. As I got inside them doors, I looked around, I was a nervous wreck. I got picked out of the group, they shook me with fear, but was told about a race, God's plan, and how I'm meant to be here. I felt like a child aged 4 or 5. This is someone I'd never met, saying I'm meant to be alive. I went home confused, I went home to cry. But after I was smiling, you know that smile you can see in the corner of your eye? It left me with so many questions. Who was God and his liquid son? Could I really be forgiven for all that I had done? Someone loved me unconditionally. How could this possibly be? They could take away my hurt and set me free. I jumped straight in. I had to know who God is. I'd interrogate Christians with a little pop quiz. For some unknown reason, it all made sense. There was someone there for me. I could feel his presence. I wanted to learn what he had to give. I wanted to learn how I should live. Things didn't suddenly become perfect, but they aren't as hard. Memories aren't a bad thing, and I can't change that I'm scarred. I was meant to go through that. They made me who I am. I believed it for a long time, but now I know that I'm a man. I have to share my story. You are meant to hear. It doesn't matter what you've been through. You are meant to be here. There is someone that loves you and you are his child. It doesn't matter if you went crazy, if you went completely wild. He loves us all so much. He gives us countless chances. Our ability to love and care, these are the ones he enhances. He will unite you with family, help you to stand up tall. You don't know what he's got planned, but he will reveal all. I was speaking to God before we even met. He's always been there, he's been my safety net. He's also been yours. He is our Father, he is our teacher, he's a man that sticks to his word. He is an artist, he is a creator, he made our beautiful world. If you do not know him, spend some time, have a chat. You can ask him anything, and he will provide much more than that. I wouldn't change a single thing. On my heart, his name is engraved. There is nothing better than the feeling of being completely saved.